This morning I'm going to Cambridge, Massachusetts to pick up a old antique phone booth from England.
It all started with a giant chicken statue. No, really. A 6-foot-tall fiberglass rooster that somehow needed to get from rural Arkansas to a hipster brunch spot in Brooklyn. And the only people willing to haul it were a group of misfit truckers bidding for the job like it was the freaking Super Bowl.
Have a good day. There's no negotiating here, pal. I'm paying you $2 for every one. I can pay somebody else.
Welcome to Shipping Wars, the show that asks the age-old question: what if Pawn Stars, ice road truckers, and Craigslist had a chaotic love child during an economic crisis? In its heyday, Shipping Wars was everything reality TV claimed it wanted to be: raw, unpredictable, a little stupid, and wildly entertaining. Real people, real cargo, real breakdowns, both mechanical and emotional. Roy Garber cursed like your uncle fixing a lawnmower. Jarrett Joyce failed upward in every episode. And Jennifer Brennan made transporting wild horses look like a casual Tuesday. It was glorious. But what started as a slice of life show about underdog entrepreneurs quickly devolved into a scripted circus of cringe, lawsuits, and fake drama.
Scuff marks right here. Was that here when you picked it up?
Yes, everything was just like that.
Was there a rip here already?
Yes.
This is the rise and spectacular crash of Shipping Wars, a reality show that somehow made logistics exciting until it shipped itself straight off a cliff. Before Shipping Wars became a meme-generating engine fueled by chaos and cat hair, it was actually kind of brilliant. The year was 2012. America was still broke, tired, and living off reheated leftovers from the 2008 financial meltdown. Reality TV was obsessed with auctions, from storage wars to auction hunters, and A&E, bless their algorithmic hearts, asked the unhinged question: what if we filmed truckers competing to move weird junk no one else wants?
Hey! So I got her loaded up here. I'm feeling pretty good about it, but I want to get an exact measurement.
Enter Shipping Wars, a show built around uship.com, an online bidding platform where independent haulers fought tooth and nail, and sometimes with actual fists, to transport oversized, absurd, and outright cursed cargo across the country.
That's why I set cable on this Carter.
It was the Hunger Games, but with diesel, and it worked. The debut episode pulled nearly 3 million viewers. By episode 2, people weren't just watching, they were invested. Fans were picking sides. Roy, the handyman Garber, became a folk hero.
Illegal anything.
Can't tell you what's in the box.
If I don't know what's in the box, I don't put it in my truck.
Jarrett Joyce, reality TV's most lovable disaster.
They're gonna do it. Probably.
Let's get it
It's all
going.
green in the end.
All right, well, you can think.
And don't forget Jennifer, the cowgirl Brennan, breaking stereotypes and hauling literal bulls while your cousin still couldn't reverse park his Prius.
I know there's a sweet man underneath that rough exterior. I'm gonna push Roy until he cracks.
Each episode was simple. Truckers bid on a job, talk trash, overpromise, underdeliver, and then drive like maniacs through open highways, low bridges, and inner existential crises. And it was all real, or at least it felt real. The early seasons had that raw, greasy authenticity, like you were watching actual people do actual work for actual survival. Not for clout, not for a ghost kitchen deal, not to launch a line of protein powders. There were no influencers back then, just flatbeds, busted air brakes, and a ticking clock. A&E found lightning in a bottle, a show that celebrated blue-collar hustle at a time when the American dream felt like it had been repossessed. Shipping Wars wasn't just entertainment, it was recession-core TV. Gritty, weirdly inspiring, and just ridiculous enough to feel like America's last functioning fantasy, that anyone with a truck, a dream, and a high pain tolerance could still make it. Well, they couldn't, but for a few golden seasons, we believed they could. And that belief, that's what made it great.
It's the customers that cause these problems.
All right, so why don't we pull the dunnage out from underneath it?
So here's the thing about reality TV. The moment you start asking, wait, is this real? It's already over. Shipping Wars started with promise, but it didn't take long before that promise got stuck in traffic, rear-ended by corporate greed, and quietly ghosted by its original charm. Let's start with the elephant in the trailer, the fakeness. At first, the show sold us a dream. Independent shippers using uShip to compete for last-minute jobs, high stakes, real tension, one wrong turn and your reputation's toast. But by season 4 or 5, fans started noticing patterns, like how every last-minute emergency delivery just happened to come with a perfect story arc, or how bidding wars felt a little too conveniently dramatic. You know, like when you find out your favorite podcast was actually scripted the whole time and your parasocial relationship meant nothing. And then came the lawsuit. No, not shipping wars directly, but it's shady cousin storage wars, where star Dave Hester claimed in court that the entire thing was staged. He alleged that producers planted valuable items in storage units and fed cast members scripted lines. A and E was suddenly under fire. Now, shipping wars was never officially dragged into that legal mess, but let's be real. Once the audience smells producer manipulation in one wars show, they start seeing ghosts in all the wars. And in shipping wars, the ghost was in the editing booth. Scenes got suspiciously polished. Random cargo assignments looked suspiciously curated. And the characters, they went from real people to reality TV archetypes faster than you can say manufactured conflict.
So far, I put more into this than I was supposed to. I've been here all day. You should have made sure this thing was ready to go.
But nothing, absolutely nothing, broke the show's spine like what happened on January 17th, 2014. Roy Garber died. Yeah, that Roy. The king of calm rage, the man who could MacGyver a hydraulic lift with a paperclip and a bad attitude. The guy who once said, "A nickel's holding up $1," and somehow made it sound wise. Gone. Sudden heart attack, just 2 days after the season 5 finale aired. And with Roy's death, something essential died with him. Because Roy was the show. He wasn't just a trucker, he was the soul, the anchor, the only guy who looked like he actually knew what the hell he was doing. He didn't flail like Jarrett or bicker for drama. He just did the job, told the camera to get out of his face, and let his cat Muffy sit shotgun.
You can off on that.
Mistakes happen. A surveyor sent you the wrong number. We're good. Thanks for the help. See you later.
After Roy passed, fans mourned hard. The hashtag #RipRoy trended. Facebook pages lit up with tributes. One fan wrote, "I'd trust Roy with my life, or at least my pool table." It was the kind of raw, collective grief usually reserved for sitcom finales or canceled Taco Bell menu items. But the show didn't pause. No tribute special, no graceful transition. Just new episodes, new cast, new cringe. And that's when the wheels really started coming off. The next gut punch, Chris and Robbie, the hotshot couple, gone, no explanation, just poof, out of the show. They were the balance to Roy's grit and Jarrett's chaos. Robbie was the brains, Chris was the biceps, and together they made hauling look hot. Rumor has it they were written out behind the scenes, but A and E never told the fans why. One week they were there, the next they were replaced by a rotating cast of tryhards who had all the personality of a rusty tailpipe.
Way, and then 4 hours back, not to count like the time loading and everything else.
My wedding's tomorrow. You're really my...
Among them, Dusty the Prodigy Davies, Jessica the Road Warrior Samko, and the painfully forced couple Todd and Tamara Sturgis, who felt like they were auditioning for a Cracker Barrel commercial that never aired. None of them stuck. The chemistry was gone, the drama felt fake, the bids were boring. One Reddit user summed it up perfectly. It's like watching karaoke night after the band left. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, Shipping Wars got its very own behind-the-scenes scandal. In 2014, Jocelyn Shuda, a coordinating producer, sued Megalomedia, the production company. Her accusations, that she was misclassified as a contractor so they didn't have to pay her overtime. Oh, and when she complained, they fired her. Classic. But wait, it gets worse. Let's repeat that. They didn't promote a qualified woman because they were worried a male supervisor might harass her. That's not just toxic. That's reality TV logic, and not in a good way.
Butter. I'm getting my money.
Sharon, I don't need to take this load, but I have to get paid.
I am not paying you for transport.
Sure, most fans never heard about the lawsuit, but it didn't matter. The damage was internal. That lawsuit peeled back the curtain and revealed what Shipping Wars really was behind the scenes. Just another exploitation machine. The producers weren't capturing drama. They were creating it, on screen and off. By season 6, the show felt like a parody of itself. Jarrett was still bumbling, but now in ways that felt less accidental and more cue the banana peel. The loads got weirder. The deadlines got tighter. The forced tension got, well, forceder. Even Roy's cat Muffy would have noped out of this version. And by season 7, it was over. Not officially. A and E just stopped talking about it. No finale, no goodbye. Just 6 more episodes in season 8 and a quiet burial in the TV schedule.
Hold on. It's easy, it's all right. What'd I tell you? No problem.
Like a drunk uncle at Thanksgiving, Shipping Wars just sort of passed out mid-sentence and never got up. Then, in 2021, because no bad idea ever truly dies, A&E announced a revival. Shipping Wars was back, except it wasn't. The new cast, generic, the tone, off. The stakes, non-existent. They didn't even show the bidding process anymore. One fan described it as the Great British Bake Off, but with trucks and zero joy. It was too late. The magic was gone. The audience knew the game. We'd seen behind the curtain. We'd read the lawsuit. We'd mourned Roy. And no amount of camera tricks could make us forget that the show had jumped the shark, and the trailer, and the cat.
A crack? This isn't a new Cadillac, Bill.
Right there.
That's a scratch.
Yeah, okay, it is a scratch.
Let's be honest, modern Shipping Wars isn't even bad in a fun way. It's not chaos, it's not a glorious train wreck, it's background noise. Something you put on while folding laundry and wondering when your life lost its flavor. The 2021 revival was hyped as a triumphant return, the resurrection of a cult classic. Instead, it arrived like a reboot wearing the skin of a show it barely remembered. Gone were the gritty U-ship bidding wars, that raw, chaotic scramble where haulers undercut each other for jobs that paid just enough to cover gas and regret. Those battles were the heartbeat. Without them, there's no pulse. The format quietly shifted from desperation to delegation. Jobs aren't fought for anymore. They're assigned off-screen like corporate dispatch orders. No tension, no stakes, no sweat, just tidy paperwork masquerading as reality TV.
Cruise through town. You mean grandmas I'd pick up in this thing? Let's do this!
And the new cast? Bland. Market tested. AI generated personalities with names like Todd and Tamara, pre-programmed to deliver conflict with the emotional intensity of a beige conference room. Watching them argue feels like dropping in on an HR mediation about forklift protocol. They don't haul chaos, they recite it. Even the disasters feel fake. When Jarrett messed up, we believed it, because that man could Google how to tie a ratchet strap mid-emergency and still get it wrong. But now, every mishap feels storyboarded, like a producer yelled action right before the axle snapped on cue. The internet saw right through it. Reddit threads called it a simulation of the original. TikTok turned it into parody gold with skits like when your load is 10,000 pounds of emotional baggage. And YouTube reactions all echoed the same fatal diagnosis. It's boring now, painfully boring, because somewhere along the way, Shipping Wars stopped being unpredictable and started being presentable. And that's when it truly lost what made it unforgettable.
We'll get them on the bottom of your trailer, and then we'll set the train right on top of it, okay?
Okay, I think we're ready to get the tracks on the trailer.
At its core, Shipping Wars was never just a reality show. It was a fantasy, a world where grit beat polish, where a beat-up semi and blind confidence could outmaneuver corporate logistics, where the American dream still rattled down the highway, wedged between a carnival ride and an emotional support llama. And for a while, it worked. We watched Roy Garber conquer the road with nothing but attitude and duct tape. We watched Jarrett bumble through disasters like a man Googling how to haul a life-size dinosaur at a red light. It was messy, it was questionable, it was real, but then came the edits, the replacements, the boardroom decisions. What was once a chaotic road circus got reformatted into a PowerPoint presentation about brand synergy. Shipping Wars didn't crash and burn, it expired, like milk left in the sun, slowly, awkwardly, and without anyone brave enough to throw it out.
Looking good. Slow and easy. Watch your toes. All right, now for the hard part, the train.
Can it be saved? Not unless someone invents time travel, resurrects Roy, fires the entire casting department, and remembers that imperfection is the soul of this genre. And even then, it might already be too late. The chaos has migrated. Reality TV now lives on TikTok in vertical meltdowns filmed on bathroom floors. So here's to Shipping Wars, a reminder that not everything needs a polish pass and that sometimes the best stories come with rust, loose straps, and borderline violations of highway law. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go outbid someone to transport a giant inflatable duck across state lines, because dreams don't die, they just run out of gas. Like, subscribe and tell us in the comments, which cast member would you trust with your taxidermied ostrich?